Hi guys, this is going to be the tutorial that's going to show you how to crochet this lacy summer top. The yarn I used on this project is NACO Elite Body Moro or whatever it's called. I have a link down below. Actually, it's on my pattern, so if you go to the link down below, go to the written pattern, it'll have all the information where you can get some yarn just like this and any color that you want. And it's also anti-peeling, so it won't fuzz up after time. It's very soft. It's also 4 ply for the US and 10 ply for Australia. And I used 1 skein of this. It is 100 grams of 250 meters, which I believe is 273 yards. So I only needed 1 and a little bit more just of this one. This was the little bit more that I used. See, barely any of the skein at all. And that was size small, so if you make this in any size bigger than that, you'll probably need 2. Other than the yarn, you're going to need a 5mm hook or a size H hook, some stitch markers or some way to keep your stitching, and tapestry needles so that you can sew in your ends, and a pair of scissors. I'd like to do a correction. The last time I did this stitch pattern, I put the wrong multiples on it. I have corrected on the pattern and comments under the video and whatnot, and the correct multiples of this stitch is 9 plus 12. So as long as you go in multiples of 9, 9, 9, 9, once you've reached about the size that you want, then chain 12 more and then you'll be ready to start. Okay, I went ahead and did 2 multiples of 9, and then since it's a sample piece, I'm going to go ahead and do my plus 12. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So this is just 9, 9, and then the 12. Now for row 1, we're going to do a double crochet decrease right at the start. And you want to start your double crochet decrease in the 7th chain from the hook. So count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this one right here, so yarn over because it's a double crochet decrease. Insert your hook and pull up a loop. Yarn over, only pull through 2. Then you're going to skip 2 chains, 1, 2, and then you're going to finish your double crochet decrease here. So skip 2, yarn over, and then the next stitch, pull up a loop, and only pull through 2. Now you have 3 loops on your hook. You want to pull through all 3 loops, and that's your first double crochet decrease. Then chain 2, skip 2, and then this 3rd chain over, you want to do a V-stitch, which will consist of a double crochet, chain 2, and then a double crochet all worked in that same stitch. Then you'll chain 2 and skip 2 again, and now we're going to repeat the pattern of a double crochet decrease. So skip 2, go into that next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, then skip 2, yarn over, go into the next stitch, and then again you'll pull through only 2, 3 loops on your hook, pull through all 3, then chain 2. We're going to be chaining 2 between each one of these increases and decreases. So we just did a decrease, so next we do an increase. So chain 2, skip 2, and in the next stitch we'll do our V-stitch, which is a double crochet, chain 2, double crochet all worked in the same stitch, and again chain 2 after each one, and skip 2. Now we're doing a decrease again, skip 2, do my last decrease here, and again you want to chain 2 here at the end. Oh, you only want to chain 1 at the end because I have 2, so I'm going to chain 1, skip 1, and then double crochet here at the end, and that will be the end of row 1. Okay, for row 2 you want to start off by chaining 8, so 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then you're going to skip this first decrease here, and you're going to start working in the top here of your increase, so in this double crochet and in this double crochet. So you're going to find that first V-stitch and do a double crochet on this first double crochet of this V-stitch, and then chain 2, which bridges the gap here of these 2 chain 2s, and then in the next double crochet do a double crochet. Then you're going to repeat that for the row, but now you're going to chain 5. So 1 2 3 4 5, and then find your next V-stitch here. So you're going to skip over your decrease and just go to your work on your V-stitches, and in the first double crochet you're going to put a double crochet. Then you'll chain 2, and in the next double crochet you'll put a double crochet. And it's going to be just like that with the chain 5 in between, and you work in double crochet, chain 2, double crochet into your V-stitches. And you'll do that all the way to the end, where again you will chain 5, and then this time you're going to skip 2 stitches. So here's your double crochet decrease. Then wait, maybe a little too far away. Here's your double crochet decrease, and then you have 1 2 chains, so you're going to skip those 2 chains, and in this third chain over you're going to put a double crochet to end row 2. And that's what row 2 looks like. Okay, for row 3 you want to start by chaining 3 and turning. Now you're going to go into that middle chain stitch. Remember you did chain 5, so there's 2 chains on this side, 2 chains on this side with 1 chain in the middle that we'll be using to create our V-stitches this row. So yarn over, find that middle chain, and you want to work a V-stitch in that chain. So double crochet, chain 2, double crochet, all in that chain, middle chain space. Then chain 2, and we just did our V-stitch, so now we're going to be doing our decrease. Every other row will be a increase decrease row with one of these rows in between with the big spaces here. So it's basically going to be these 2 repeating, just it's going to be a little different where you put your stitches, so I'm going to still take you through it. So in the middle of your chain 5s here you'll always put a V-stitch, and then when you come to these 2 straight double crochets you'll want to do a decrease. So you go into that first double crochet, pull up a loop, pull through 2, then you'll yarn over, go into the next double crochet and pull up 2, then you'll pull through all 3 loops and chain 2, and that's how you'll do this row. Now again you'll always chain 2 after, so you're going to chain 2 and then you'll put your V-stitch here in the middle of the chain 5, then you'll chain 2 again, and then again you'll work your double crochet decrease using the 2 posts of these, and then I'll be right back. Okay, now I've come up to this big chain on the end and I just did a decrease, so now we need to do the V-stitch. So I've already chained 2 after that stitch, so I'm going to skip 2 like I've been doing, and then the next chain, the third chain over here, you want to put a V-stitch, and then again you'll chain 2, then you'll skip 2, and then the next, which is the top of the chain 3 if you want to count from the bottom, 1 2 3, so 3 over or 3 up, so this middle chain you'll put a double crochet to end your row, and that will end row 3. Okay, so now we're on row 4, which like I said is going to be alternating, having increase your V-stitches and your decreases, and then the next one will be the bigger hole one with the straight double crochets. So this is that row again, so it's going to be one of they're really quick. It's a quick row is what I call it. So you're going to chain 3 and turn. Now we got a V-stitch first thing, so we're going to go into that very first double crochet here and work a double crochet. Then we'll chain 2 and work another double crochet in the other double crochet of the V-stitch. Then you're going to chain 5, 3, 4, 5, and we're going to be moving past. You'll never work any stitch in the decreases. So if you come up to a decrease and you're not sure what to do, you're probably on one of these rows where you just worked into the the V-stitches here, and then you chain 5, which bridges the gap, and then you go into your next V-stitch, double crochet, and then you'll chain 2, and then go into the next double crochet, chain 5, and then skip on over to your next V-stitch. Super easy row. Did I get the right stitch? I think I did. Okay, so I got 1 in each stitch, and then you just want to do a double crochet in the top, ending chain 3. So at the top of your chain 3 there, and that will end your row 4. Okay, this is row 5, and this will be the end of your rows of repeats. You'll be repeating rows 2 through 5. So for row 5, you're going to chain 4 and turn, and now you're going to do a double crochet decrease using the post of these 2 down here. So you're going to go in, grab up a loop, only pull through 2, yarn over, go into the other double crochet, pull through 2, 3 loops on your hook, pull through all 3 loops, then chain 2. And now again we're going to be working our V-stitches here in the middle of the chain 5. So do your double crochet, chain 2, and double crochet, and remember you want to chain 2 between each of these V-stitches and your double crochet decreases. So again, double crochet decrease, chain 2, V-stitch in the middle chain here, chain 2, decrease here, chain 2, and then I'll show you how to end your row. Oh, I'm here on the end of my row 5, and at the end here you only want to chain 1, and then find the top of the chain 3 and double crochet in that one. If you feel like you need to have 2 at the end, then go ahead. So that's the end of the repeat. So now you got to back up the video, go to row 2, and then continue to follow the videos rows 2 through 5. And you want to go ahead and keep repeating rows 2 through 5 until you have a total of 27 rows done. And once you have that, you need to make a second one that's exactly the same. So you'll be making 2 exact squares so that you can put one on top of the other. Now you want to make sure that you have it facing the way that, you know, the bad side, if you want to call it a bad side. Make sure you have the bad sides facing each other. And I put a marker here in this very big slot there at the very end. I went ahead and I put a marker because it will hold these 2 pieces together almost like you sewed it already. So it'll hold it in place. On this side, I had my yarn still attached to my last square, so I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go in this very first big space here and do a single crochet, chain 1. And that's how I was attaching it. I just did a simple single crochet, chain 1, and then I marked over, I counted on my daughter's, counted just the big spaces here at the top. So I counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I marked it, and that's where her shoulder was. So I put a stitch marker there, and then I had this part open, and I'll show you some pictures so you can see what I'm talking about. I just made a single crochet, chain 1 in the very corner, moved over 5, put it in that stitch, and then did again single crochet, chain 1. Then I repeated it for the other side too. I attached my yarn, and I'm going to show you how I attached my yarn so you know. You go under wherever you want to make your connection. So I'm going to say this big place. You just bring up a loop, pull through both loops, then chain 1. It's pretty easy to do a single crochet attachment, and then that's just enough to keep it to where it's not going to come loose. There's not a lot of sewing on the top to do. So once I got my corners, counted over 5, then did my sew, and then I did the same thing for the other side. I now needed to measure out how much I needed for my arms. And for my arms, I ended on the same row, which is the V-stitches and the decreases, because it's the strongest. So I ended on a row like that, and then when I was ready to mark for the sleeve, after I sewed my top, I counted using these big holes here. So I did 1, 2, and then in the third one down, that's the one I used. So I did 3 big holes down, and all I did was attach my yarn in there again in that big hole and do a single crochet attachment just like this. Single crochet attachment, and then I just worked my way down my side stitches. And the method that I used for that is I always use single crochets for a start because I really don't trust just the needle and thread. So I attached it on my big circle, the third one down. I would do 3 single crochets every time I would come up to a big hole like this, and then in these 3 here I would do, because you're going to come up to this a lot between the 2 big holes. So in these I would do 2, 2, 2, and in the big holes I did 3. And that's how I sewed down my sides. Single crocheting 3, single crochet 2 in there, 2 in there, 2 in there, 3 in there. And I did it all the way until I reached my corner, like this here. Then once I reached the corner, I did an extra 1 or 2 here in the corner just to get myself to the very, very end. And then I would chain 1 and cut my yarn. Then I would do then I turned it and did the same thing for the other side as well. Counted down 3 big spaces, attached to my yarn, and then sewed it all the way down to the corner. And then what was left was my armhole. And then the top had my neck hole. And then that was it. It's pretty easy, pretty simple. That's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this tutorial, please don't forget to like and share and comment down below. It helps me out so much. Also, if you always want to be notified whenever I release a new tutorial, you can go to my main YouTube page and click that little bell button next to the subscribe button. If you are interested in getting yourself a furls hook, you can find those links down below this video. This is the Streamline and this is the regular wooden furls hooks. If you haven't been to my Facebook page called Crochet for the Masses, come on over there and check us out. The link is down below. So that's it, guys. Thanks so much for watching.